You may be seated. Now we will start placing tributes. We'll start with WIMSA, Women in Military Service to America, and that will be Catherine Hennessy. VFW Post 584, Quartermaster James Jones, and 40 and 8, Locale 727, Mark Jones. St. Mary's Chapter Number 9, Order of the Eastern Star, Sandra Lovelady, worthy matron. Mary's River Lodge, number 221, AF and AM, Lloyd Graham. American Legion, Post 11, Bill Dixon, Vice Commander. Altrusa Club, Evelyn Hendricks, and American Legion Auxiliary Unit 11, Johanna Hennessy, Junior Auxiliary Member. For Civil War and Spanish-American War veterans, Brian Jones. World War I veterans, Mark Jones. Korean War veterans, Dick Paradis from Post 11. are World War I, the Vietnam War, the Gulf War, Iraq and Afghanistan veterans, Marjorie and John Morford. And Bill Dixon. For the Benton County Republican Women, Carolyn Webb. For the Elks, Bud Graham. And for the U.S. Coast Guard Auxiliary, Greg Sebastian. Now we have American Legion Post 11 Commander Guy Hendricks introduce our main speaker.
Our speaker today is Lieutenant Commander Larson. He was commissioned as an ordnance officer from Sam Houston University, State University in 1996. He is an expert in explosive ordnance disposal. He had many explosive ordnance disposal assignments, including two deployments to Afghanistan and two to deployment in Iraq. Most recently, he was assigned to the 1st Cavalry Division EOD officer and served as the deputy of the counter IED cell at Regional Command East at Bagram Airfield, Afghanistan. He is currently the professor of military science at Oregon State University, Army ROTC unit. I give you Lieutenant Colonel Larson.
Good morning, everyone. I'd like to thank Mr. Hendricks for that introduction and the opportunity to talk to you this morning as we recognize Memorial Day and remember those who sacrificed their lives in military service to their nation. It so often seems in today's society that we are busy. Too busy with work commitments, too busy with school or sports, too busy with community service obligations or volunteer work, too busy with getting the gardens ready now that the danger of frost has passed. In historical perspective, however, I doubt this is a new phenomenon. Americans have always been busy with one thing or another. In fact, one of the things that continues to make this country great is its citizens' self-drive and determination to stay engaged in a variety of pursuits. Unfortunately, this often resulted in an inability to stop and reflect upon those events which got us to where we are today, both as individuals and as a nation. Recognizing this, long ago, our government established this holiday to ensure that at least once a year, we stop and remember those who sacrificed their lives in service to our nation. Today, we remember. Although previously celebrated and recognized locally in many areas of the United States, today's holiday was established at the national level over 140 years ago, in 1868, by Major General John Logan of the Grand Army of the Republic, a fraternal organization of Union soldiers and sailors, members of which are buried here in the cemetery. Recognizing a need to establish a specific day to remember those soldiers lost in the Civil War, Major General Logan directed that the graves of fallen soldiers be decorated with flowers on this day. Major General Logan went on to state, "We should guard their graves with sacred vigilance, let pleasant paths invite the coming and going of reverent visitors and fond mourners. Let no neglect, no ravages of time testify to the present or to the coming generations that we have forgotten, as a people, the cost of a free and undivided republic." Today, we remember. After the Great War, Memorial Day expanded to include service members that died in all conflicts, not just the Civil War. It now serves as a day to memorialize all of the fallen of the Civil War, the Spanish-American War, World War I, World War II, the Korean War, Vietnam, the Gulf War, Operation Enduring Freedom, Operation Iraqi Freedom, and countless other multiple military conflicts spread across over 2.5 centuries of nation. While the purpose of these military operations were varied, one thing remained constant. The ranks of the services were filled with those willing to do their duty in service to their nation, and when required, to make the ultimate sacrifice. Our nation would not be here today without their sacrifice, and today we remember. While I think of those who sacrificed on our behalf, I imagine a patchwork quilt of people of all kinds of backgrounds. Rich and poor, children of farmers, miners, business owners, bankers. From the south, from the north, from the East Coast, and even the Pacific Northwest. Caucasian, Black, Hispanic, Native American. Men and women, brothers and sisters, sons and daughters, mothers and fathers. They have one thing in common. When called, they are willing to put aside everything and everyone in their lives, and even their life itself. Today, we remember. In a contemporary world and society where people often focus on themselves and self-service pursuits, it is tempting to use this holiday to recognize all veterans or public servants or even non-military family members who have passed away. While it is wholly appropriate to take the time to remember and thank these people, including the many veterans that are here with us today, the singular purpose of this day is to recall those that gave so much in service to their nation. So while I thank all veterans for their service, for those that died while in service in particular, today I remember. Over time, the original meaning of Memorial Day began to erode. The Grand Army of the Republic dissolved as an organization with the death of the last Civil War Union veteran. Many of those that habitually celebrated and remembered the sacrifices of World War I and World War II service members themselves have passed away. The shift in generational remembrance changed dramatically with fewer veterans and surviving family members with first-hand experience in losing a loved one during combat. In addition, a focus on the start of the summer season. Don't let the rain fool you today. It's officially started. Lots of retail stores and an opportunity to have a barbecue with friends and family from out of town began to overshadow the original meaning. So in 2000, President Clinton and Congress solidified the intent of the National Day of Remembrance public law and by presidential proclamation. At 3 p.m. local time on the last Monday in May, every U.S. citizen is asked to observe 1 minute of silence and reflection on the lives sacrificed for our freedom. So, at 3 p.m. today, we will once again remember. We will remember those that perished at Gettysburg, the Argonne Forest, Khe Sanh, Dhahran, Kabul, Baghdad, Ramadi, and countless other cities, villages, and battlefields across the world. When called, they answered, and they did their duty, and today we remember. As I worked on the final version of the speech yesterday afternoon, my 7-year-old daughter sat in the chair next to me, looking at the words on the screen, and extremely impressed that I could type so fast. As her shock that I could type without even looking at the keyboard wore off, she began to actually read some of what I had written. She asked, "Daddy, is tomorrow the day we remember everyone in the Army?" I told her no, that it's Veterans Day and it is in November. Tomorrow is Memorial Day when we remember those who died in war. Being 7, she obviously had some follow-up questions. She asked, "Daddy, isn't it sad to remember those that died in war?" And I told her that yes, it is often sad, especially when we remember the family and friends who died in war. When I remember those who I knew or worked with that died in war, sometimes it gets sad. If I or her uncle, my little brother, were to die in war, then she'd most likely be sad as well when remembering us on Memorial Day too. But that was okay. She then said, "If I don't know anyone who died in war, am I supposed to be sad?" I told her no. She does not have to be sad, but she does need to be respectful, and she needs to be thankful that there were those willing to make that sacrifice so others did not have to. And above all, she needs to remember. So we set the alarm on my watch, and today at 3 p.m., a new generation will remember. In conclusion, I would like to thank American Legion Post 11 for putting on this ceremony today and inviting me to speak and be here with you. It's a privilege to be here, and thank you for allowing me to play a small part in your ceremony today. I will remember. Thank you.